players are doing today?
I hope they're recharging, filling their tanks for a really tough next round, next opponent. I think we all know when you get down to the final 8 teams that you're going to be playing a really good team. And, we don't know yet home road where we're going to start, but I would hope they're resting and getting ready for the next battle.
You talked about Jamie and Tyler, guys that have accepted different roles and guys you talked to early on. What were those initial conversations? When do you remember having those conversations after you took the job, and kind of from where those conversations were and how it's kind of worked out?
Yeah. Well, I came in the summer after I took the job and started to have some conversations with Jamie Benn just about some of my thoughts on where I thought this was potentially going to go, because he was training here in the summer. Tyler wasn't around. Tyler was gone back to Toronto already. So I think those conversations with Tyler were more training camp-ish, but I started earlier with Jamie when I came in here in July.
Pete, kind of a weird question to ask, big picture though, but what have you learned about your team through the first round of the playoffs? I feel like we asked you that throughout the season, but I guess playoffs are a different animal.
Yeah. The group has a resiliency to them, and that I think comes from the veteran presence in the room. The Jamie Benns, the Joe Pavelskis, the Ryan Suiters, those guys that Glenn Denning, that they've seen teams play different styles. And they can adapt and find ways to work through it and win games. That was as physical a playoff series as I've been involved in, and I thought how we handled that was really impressive. And it starts with those guys, and obviously, the young guys take their cues from them, and that was particularly impressive how the young guys followed our veterans' lead and didn't get involved in the after whistle stuff, but also didn't get pushed out of the game physically, which could have happened and might have happened to other teams.
Thomas Harley in particular,
Yeah.
Didn't have a lot of regular season. We talked about the pace of the game changing from the AHL to NHL, then to the playoffs. And he was the only defenseman who had to deal with the pairing change. Just how did you see him?
Yeah.
Kind of take it?
Yeah, he was really impressive. I mean, his feet and his skating and his length obviously give him, a real advantage at this level. So, I didn't feel the speed would be an issue for him. It's not like he doesn't have another gear. I mean, he's an elite skater. But the physicality part of it was something that you're always interested in seeing how a young defenseman handles. And like I said, I mean, he took as much or more physical punishment than anybody on our team. I think Foligno ran him more than a few times, and you know what, he didn't back up. There was no hesitation in his game. Really impressive how he handled that.
Both your opponents for next round are getting ready for Game 7 tonight. You're sitting back watching. How can you use that most advantageously?
Well, the most advantageous thing we can do is doing what we're doing today, is just recharging and filling the tanks. And the coaches and analytics department are working on pre-scout so that we're prepared. But the best thing that we can do is take advantage of the time and recharge after a really tough physical series.
Is this the perfect amount? Because you're not waiting too long. But
Yeah, probably. I mean, you're never gonna complain about a series ending sooner than later. But I think it can be an advantage for us that we're jumping in fresh against a team coming off a Game 7.
With Paz overall, just when you look back when you came in here, obviously your relationship with him, how much did it help having a guy like that kind of could relay the message of you in this locker room?
Yeah, I can't tell you how important that was. It speeded up everything we were trying to do. Our message coming into camp, our system play, our special teams. He had been there, done that. It gave us instant credibility with the group, which is always something as a new staff. You know, usually that takes time to develop a trust there, and I think, you know, his presence just sped all that up, allowed us to get off to a quick start, and you know, allowed us to have the season we had.
There had only been a couple of years between the time y'all were together. Did you see any difference in Joe other than being older?
No.
A couple years older?
Yeah, you know, he doesn't even look older. He looks the same. You know, he's no faster, he's no slower than he was. You know, he's the same. He's the same player. That's the beauty of Joe, is just in his consistency every day, what he brings to the rink. Win, lose, you know, highs, lows. He's got a great consistency to his personality and his play.
A philosophical question. Going back to Game 3, not a great game. You come back. You only changed the bottom pairing defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
You did this in the regular season. Power play was in a slump for like 2 months. What's the balance of when you make an overhaul change versus you let them figure it out?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think again, you know, we you know, it's about consistency in your approach, and I think the worst thing you can do is change how you approached things in the season. If you approach things a certain way, and I thought the players allowed us to have patience with line combinations and pairings and special teams because they executed at a high level most of the year. You know, the worst thing I think we could do is come playoff time not have that patience or give them the same benefit of the doubt we did during the regular season. Now, you know, if you've gone through the regular season and mixed and matched, you know, on a regular basis, and that's worked for your team, then, you know, you probably can continue to do that. I think players just want consistency. They want to make sure that you know, nothing you're doing is seen as panicking, you know, compared to what you've done all year. And I think that's been our approach. We want to continue to do what's made us good all year.
How do you guys watch the game as a coaching staff? Do you group text? Do you how do you watch the game tonight and then start going from there?
Yeah, we've got a group text. I mean, we've made travel arrangements if we have to go to Colorado, and obviously if we start here, we've talked through, you know, all those things, you know, all the logistics of doing that. But, you know, the reality is these players, you know, will get a message today saying, you know, tomorrow morning, come to the rink, you know, prepared to either practice and fly to Colorado or practice and, you know, be ready for a home game Tuesday night. So, you know, that's the spot we're in.